Gretchen Kirchmann here for TheRide.com, and I have a fabulous guest today. It's McKenzie Haley, Miss Rodeo America 2011. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
How has life been after you relinquished your title?
Not as exciting. No, I'm back in school, and so I'm back to being a normal college student. So it's not as exciting, but I try to keep myself busy somehow.
You know, that must be an interesting transition to just be going and doing bookwork after having such a busy year as Miss Rodeo America.
Yes. But you know what did help me is that I never really learned how to study, like for, like tests and things until I was, South Dakota getting ready for Miss Rodeo America. And because of that, I know how to study now. I know how, what works best for me. So yeah, it's a crazy transition and not as busy, but taught me how to study.
Well, there's the benefits of rodeo queening, all these great skills that you learned. So right now, we've got the Chris Young concert that just ended at Cowboy Fan Fest. We've got the Miss Rodeo America scholarship auction going on over in the arena. Let's walk through the pageant. You've seen it 3 different times, when you were the South Dakota Lady in Waiting, the year you competed and won, and now you're back watching. So maybe you can kind of tell us what you were feeling and what you think the girls are anticipating coronations tomorrow. What are the butterflies?
Well, this is the last event. This is the last thing they're judged on until coronation. And I remember last year, not last year, the year I competed, after this, and we got a little bit of time with our family after the auction. And I literally got to my family, and before anyone said anything, all of a sudden I am just crying. It's an emotional time, and these girls, and they're done. That's it. There's nothing else they can do. They can't impress anyone else. They can't do it. They have anything else to say. They're done. And it's an emotional, it's a crazy feeling. You can't really explain it because they're just like, well, now it's just a waiting game. But it's an emotional time as soon as this gets over.
All right, so let's talk about the pageant from the very beginning. They started off with a cowgirl kickoff party, and that was a new twist this year. It was fashion forward. Wrangler gave them Rock 47 not jeans, but jackets to embellish. And I heard that there was furs and there was tailoring done and just a variety of things. And then what was the next event they jumped into after that? Was it speech or horsemanship? Oh, fashion show. They get ready for so many different things.
The fashion show was next, and they also did fashion show differently as well this year. Normally they do dances, and they have to learn different dances for each song, for each set. And this year they did a legit fashion show, where they had different fashions from Wrangler. I think they had some kippies. And they did a fashion show, and I loved it. I was like, why couldn't they have done that when I was there? Because it looked like so much fun, and the girls did really, really well.
So they moved it out of the Hollywood studio at the MGM Grand. They put it over in the convention center with a runway, and they've also added in some heels to the competition. So they took the girls out of the cowboy boots with some of the different changes. And I know at the mid-year board meeting they were saying they really wanted fashion to be representative for the audience to say, I like that and I want to buy that.
Yeah. And it was really good, and the girls could do whatever they wanted with what they were given. Heels, boots, flats, flip-flops. They could wear their hat or no hat. I mean, it was a good idea, and it let the girls show what they wanted to do with each item.
And now let's talk about the categories that they're judged on during the fashion show, because personality and appearance is really going to come into play.
Yeah, so they'll be judged on personality and appearance at the fashion show, where they were judged, and each girl then after the fashion show kind of thing, each girl brings a dress that they have designed and had made, and they each do a formal modeling of their formal dress. So they're judged, on personality and appearance for the whole show, and fashion and formal modeling.
Were there any states that really stood out in your mind with their fashions?
With their dresses, I really liked Colorado's. It was really pretty. South Dakota, I'm from South Dakota, and I've helped Courtney a lot, so she's my girl. But I also liked Nebraska's, and I also liked Mississippi's. Those are the ones on top of my head right now, but they all had really cool things. And
the McKenzie Carr. So we had McKenzie Haley 2011, and then we have McKenzie Carr 2012 as Miss Rodeo America. I saw a few still pictures, and she had a Vegas with Elvis-inspired dress. Talk about that one.
It was like I went over and talked to her, and I gave her a hug. I think it was like a gabardine kind of material, and it was white, and Donna Riva made it, and it was big, huge Elvis collar and big, huge Elvis, hang down cuffs, and just gold it out. And I didn't really appreciate it until I got up next to her. And then when I was up next to her, I was like, holy crap, like that is really cool. But on stage, and I was kind of far in the back, I couldn't really tell, but I got up close to her and it was really cool.
Every Miss Rodeo America seems to bring a style to the pageant, and I loved the style that you brought with the wider skirts that came out. And I want to say kind of a mermaid.
Yeah.
Would that be the correct term?
So when you come back as Miss Rodeo America, you're able to do, I had a different fashion show dress and a different coronation dress. And my fashion show dress, I bought it at a bridal shop, and it was like a snake skin material, and it was strapless, and they had them put like a sheer gold top on it. And it was mermaid, and it was a tight mermaid, but it was so pretty, and I loved it. And you will notice that you saw mermaid dresses this year at the fashion show, and they're coming out with the newer and trying to be different rather than just your traditional leather dress.
That was one thing that they had talked about, that when is it really practical to be wearing those leather dresses? You're down at the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame in July. It's extremely hot, and you've got several states down there, and so they were wanting to bring in those cotton blends and the polyesters. And are we seeing that?
Yeah, when I was Miss Rodeo America, we went to the Hall of Fame. I had a shorter, like knee-length denim dress made. And then I had some cool boots. I actually had a pair of white Justins painted on, and it was really cute. And this year, more girls did the short dresses, and it's just more practical and not so. I mean, literally, you sit in like 100-degree temperature, sweating in those leather dresses. It just makes zero amount of sense.
I'm glad that you're a trend center because I like your style, and we've seen you modeling for Cripple Creek. What are some other things that you're doing?
Well, I mean, not much with that kind of stuff. I worked for Bailey at Market in September, and I'll go back to Market in January. And here in Vegas, I got hired at the PBR Rock Bar to host events with Douglas Duncan, so that's been pretty entertaining. And Cripple Creek, and I just actually did a shoot with Roland, who owns Cripple Creek, yesterday, and he's opening. He is kind of bringing up a new line, and he wants me to be the main girl for that line. So people continue to want to work with me, and that makes me happy because I might have made an impression on them.
Wonderful. All right, so let's go back to the pageant. So we've done the Cowgirl Kickoff Party. We've talked about the fashion show. Let's go into speeches. And I remember you had a standout speech. You actually won the speech award. So were there any speeches that stood out?
Well, I didn't go this morning, but I went the first day, and Courtney went, and Courtney's speech was wonderful, but I was like captivated by Sierra, Nebraska's speech. And she has a very, very good speaking voice and a very good way of presenting, and it like literally just captivated me. And so I think she did well along with Courtney.
Well, that is interesting. So when they did the speeches this year, they've kind of changed up some of the things. Before, you never knew when you were going to have to go. Then they went to the years where they would actually put you into a category.
Right.
For this year, did they change anything from the past years when you were in competing?
No. When I competed, they did a thing where if you didn't give that, they had 3 days of speeches then. And if you didn't, they told you the night before if you were going to give your speech that day. And if you didn't give your speech that day, you got to sleep in those mornings. So you didn't have to go and sit and listen to everyone's speech when you weren't giving it. But now they just changed it to 2 days of speeches, and they go the whole time. So if you're not giving your speech, you have to go and sit, which it's only 2 days, and it's not that bad. So.
All right, so part of the Miss Rodeo America pageant is that several of the states have a lady in waiting. So they actually crown their new queen before, so she has a chance to be like an intern here. They're changing so many of the dynamics. Is it beneficial for the women to come out here?
I think it's wonderful, and I think you should even come before your lady in waiting. Like if you have an intention to be a state queen, if you have an intention of competing for Miss Rodeo America, like I think you should come here and see it for yourself, because if not, it is a whole new experience. It's a whole different ballgame than a state pageant. So I think it's wonderful, and I think it's also wonderful that they're putting those lady in waitings to work, because they're able to get to know each other, and they're selling tickets, and they have like a seminar for them, and they have like a luncheon thing for them. So it's good for them to be able to meet each other and get to know each other before they're actually going to start their year together.
Well, several of them will probably kick off at the Black Hills Stock Show and Rodeo, because the titles will actually change over in January. So the Lady in Waitings will then become their state title?
They'll all go to Denver. They'll all go to Denver, and then they'll come out to Rapid, yeah. So most of them go to, But Denver's so long that it's like you're there for 2 or 3 days and you're out. So they'll probably go to Denver, and because markets during Denver as well, so they will want to go there. But then they'll come up to Rapid, yeah.
Did they have the alumni luncheon for the former Miss Rodeo Americas this year?
I do not think so. I didn't see it on the thing to buy the ticket, so I didn't go. If they did, I didn't go to it.
Oh my goodness. So Fan Fest, what do you think of that? They've got Rodeo Way, which has, you know, the Old West Town going on, the ACM stage, the arena with attractions, and then plenty of cowboy shopping.
I think it's great. I walked down the Rodeo Way a couple times, and it's interesting, and it's cool to go down there because there's the Miss Rodeo America booth and Deadwood booth and the Sutton booth, so it's cool to go down there and see different things, and I think this stage is a wonderful idea, and it's good. I like it.
Well, I just thought it would be really fun to host a rodeo royalty so that we could talk about the Miss Rodeo America pageant and the functions that the state queens go through, and to just shine some light on it as the young girls were sitting in the audience competing and getting a chance to look and say, oh, someday I want to be Miss Rodeo America, to do that one with. All right, so we've done speeches. Let's talk about the impromptu questions and chaps. So when you were Miss South Dakota, did you design your own chaps?
I did, and I designed a pair at the beginning of my year. Like the South Dakota boards has one sponsored, and then I decided to get a second pair just for the pageant. And I advise a girl not to do that. Like, I don't think you should waste your money. And it's not just wasting your money, but it's like I wore those chaps one time out of my whole life, and now they're being passed on to each Miss Rodeo South Dakota. But I mean, I could have worn the ones I had all year, and it would have been just okay. So it's, yes, I did design. I designed 2 chaps, but it's kind of a silly thing to get 2.
So the chaps, do you remember what some of the techniques were that the girls went? I remember one year Florida had cactuses on her, Arizona. I mean, they've really taken, it's not just the chaps, but it seems like the embellishment from the hat all the way down.
Yeah, they try to make it, for that chap competition, they try to make their whole outfit match. And everything is, they're tying it into the chaps, and they have to describe their chaps. So they want something to be able to say about their chaps, whether about their state, whether about how they made it, about the stories that come along with their chaps. So they're trying to make it all one presentable package on stage.
I really like the addition of the chaps. In previous years, what year did it come into play?
I don't know.
It was not the early 90s when your aunt competed.
No, back then they had to make a state. They had to make a costume. I remember her telling about making a costume was Wonder Woman first. I can't remember. They had a theme, and it was superhero or something. So things have changed for sure. I mean, I've seen her Wonder Woman outfit that she had to wear. But that's kind of cool. But yeah, the chaps are a really good idea.
There was certainly, the styles have changed over the Miss Rodeo America pageant. When you go down Rodeo Way at Cowboy Fan Fest, you look and you can tell that the big giant puffy shoulders were in, and then there was the sequins and the large hair and then the shorter hair. Yeah. And so lots of different things. Okay, so TV interview. How did the girls do with their TV interviews?
They did good. They did good. It was good. And, I only saw the one day of speeches, but from what I saw, it was good.
Well, that's great. Again, this is Gretchen Kirchmann here with McKenzie Haley, former Miss Rodeo America 2011. You're watching ForTheRide.com and Rodeo Roundup.